Okay, so picture this. What if one of the most incredible athletic achievements of our time was also seen as a massive, profound insult? It sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're looking at an event that was, on one hand, a global party, and on the other, a huge local controversy. It all centers on one guy, one giant skyscraper, and two completely opposite ways of seeing the world.
So, who's the man? Well, it's Alex Honnold, probably the most famous free solo climber on the entire planet. And the tower? That's Taipei 101, an absolute titan of steel and glass. The challenge, and this is the kicker, was to climb it. With no rope, no net, no safety gear whatsoever. Just him, his hands, and his nerve.
And you know what? He actually did it. In just, get this, 91 minutes and 30 seconds. That is less time than it takes to watch a movie. He pulled off something that, let's be honest, most of us would say is completely and utterly impossible.
So as you can imagine, this feat was cheered on a global scale. It really was a spectacle that captivated the entire world. And the reaction? Well, it was immediate and it was absolutely massive. I mean, the story just exploded. It wasn't some niche news item. We're talking front page of CNN. It was trending everywhere on social media. News outlets from all over the world were flocking to cover it. And that selfie he took at the top, with all of Taipei stretched out below him, oh man, that thing went viral instantly. For that moment, this crazy climb put this huge, amazing spotlight right on Taiwan.
And you have to wonder what was going through his mind. From his perspective, it was just pure triumph. You know, his very first words when he got to the top, they weren't about how hard it was or how dangerous it was. It was just awe. Everything is so beautiful. It was this moment of just pure, unfiltered joy from a guy at the absolute top of his game.
Now, a lot of people looked at this and just called him a madman, you know, an adrenaline junkie. But his wife, she offered a totally different take. She said people don't see how happy he is when he climbs. For him, it's not about chasing death. It's about feeling more alive than ever.
Okay, so that's the story, right? A global hero, an incredible achievement. But is that the only voice we should be listening to? Because while the whole world was celebrating the amazing view from the top, a totally different story was playing out down on the ground. A story full of anger, one that's rooted in a really painful history. For some people, the hero's story just isn't the whole story. Not even close. This was the reaction from the Taiwan Work Safety Association. They didn't see a hero. They saw a dangerous stunt that made a mockery of safety. Their words were incredibly blunt. They said, "This is not a performance. This is using human life as promotional material." Just, wow.
So you have to ask, where is all this anger coming from? Well, to really get it, you have to look past Alex Honnold. You have to look into the very foundation of the tower itself and at the tragic history that's literally built into its walls.
This timeline really gives us the context we need. See, back in 2002, during construction, a huge earthquake hit. It caused two massive cranes to fall more than 50 stories. 5 workers were killed. Afterwards, a memorial was built right nearby to honor them, a permanent reminder of the human price of building these incredible structures. So when Honnold climbed that same building without any safety gear, in their eyes, he wasn't just climbing a skyscraper. He was putting on a show at a place of tragedy.
And you have to understand, this isn't just some isolated thing. Falling from heights is the #1 cause of workplace deaths in Taiwan. The Work Safety Association is really clear on this point. They don't see these as a bunch of random accidents or one-off mistakes. They call it a systemic failure. So for them to see a guy climb that tower with zero protection and for it to be celebrated as entertainment, well, it felt like a giant slap in the face to every single worker who's ever died on the job.
So here we are. On the exact same day, about the exact same event, you have two completely competing stories. Was he a hero pushing the absolute limits of what's possible for a human being? Or was he just promotional material, trampling all over a painful history of worker safety? Let's break it down. On one side, you've got the hero's story, right? An impossible mission accomplished, a celebration of human potential, a fantastic moment for the whole world to see Taiwan. But then, on the other side, you have this really serious accusation, a blatant trampling of safety protocols, a deep disrespect for the workers who died, and a public challenge to the very laws that are supposed to protect people. And the association didn't stop there. They went public with a list of really sharp, really uncomfortable questions aimed right at the authorities. They asked, was this all just for fame and headlines? Is that workers' memorial just A decoration? What would have happened if a sudden earthquake or a strong gust of wind came through? And then, the big one. Why on earth did the Taipei City Labor Bureau give this the green light?
So we're left with this. One tower, but two totally different ways of looking at it. The gaze from the very top and the roar from the ground. How do you even begin to reconcile two perspectives that seem, well, irreconcilable?
Maybe the point isn't to pick a side. Maybe the real story is found in that uncomfortable space where both things are true at the same time. It's totally possible for an event to be a stunning athletic achievement and also a profound societal controversy. It can be a feat that inspires millions and, simultaneously, a really problematic spectacle that forces us to ask tough questions about safety, memory, and respect.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. When someone challenging the limit becomes this huge global spectacle, who gets to define the line between what's inspiration and what's recklessness? We all watch it, we all share it, so in a way we're all part of it. So who draws that line? Who gets to decide when an incredible, daring act crosses over from being inspiring to being a dangerous slap in the face to a society's values? That's something to think about.